welcome to this episode of From Dirt We Grow. I'm your host, Stephanie Allen. I appreciate every one of you being here and encourage you to go back and listen to previous episodes. I have so much content to offer you, so many professional guests that come in healthcare and education and finance, as well as so much more to offer you. Go check them out. They're very informative. Be sure to give them a listen. Likes and subscribes as well. If you like the content, please do so. Now, let's get into today's episode. Help me in welcoming Chris Irizarry to the show, the congressional candidate running in Florida's 12th district. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the show.
That's great. Yes. Hi. How are you, Stephanie?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time and thank you for your efforts.
Oh, thank you for thank you.
So, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Grew up in South Florida. Graduated high school from Florida Atlantic University. Around 23 years old, I joined the military. I was there for 8 years, from 95 to 2003. A couple of years later, I was living in Colorado, and I decided, you know what, I need to be somewhere else. We had the global war on terror going on, and I was a military contractor all the time. I had just become a father. My son had been born. Just saw a lot of chaos in the world, and I felt I needed to get upriver to where that problem was. Well, I decided one night I was just going to put in my application for CIA. I believe I got it in there August 19th of 2005. And by September of 2006, I was walking in the building. And I did 16 years there, so 24 years of federal service with two oaths. And at the end of 2024, I was officially retired after 24 years of service. I had a wide open chapter, just ready to write on the next phase of my life. Was coming back to I was coming back to Florida, not where I grew up, but Central Florida. I'm in Pasco County, which is think of north of Tampa. I live in Hudson, so I was ready to start. Just I was going to pick up painting and catching up on my reading, and just see where this will take me.
And then life hits you upside
And then
down.
life hits. Yeah. You know what? It started with the election results. And I was extremely disappointed with that, obviously. I mean, I would have no idea how underreacting I was to that, to be extremely disappointed. But where I actually felt like a real, like, gut punch of nervousness and fear as to, okay, this isn't just about policy issues that I have a different opinion on, or I think differently. There is a rot in our government right now. And that's when Doge was just able to start running through all these agencies within the federal government. And I saw our many representatives, including our current one, Gus Belarakis, had no problem with that. They were just going to give it up. And that's where a lot of people, I think, they miss the point of everything. I hear a lot of people raising their hands like, well, this is not constitutional because, or this is illegal because it's not in the Constitution. It's against the law. You're right. You're absolutely right, but it's not the words on the paper or parchment that forms the guardrails. It's the people that make sure other people obey these laws. And the people that we had, our legislatures, and many people who we sent there to Capitol Hill, were just going to abandon their duties and responsibilities. Gus Belarakis being one of them, and I called him out on this. So after I saw his apology tour, where he said, "Yeah, we're going to get those checks, and we're going to be great, and and this is going to be fun, right?" And people are like, "Yeah, yeah, we don't care how long it takes, go right ahead." And I walked out of there and I said, "There's no way. I just did 24 years of service just to watch the representative, just without apparently not worried about any consequences or anything, and anybody holding him to account." I was like, you know what? No, he's going to have to hold account, and the price he's going to have to pay is to get removed from office. And it was at that moment I decided to run. I talked to my wife about it.
Thank you for your service, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I took two oaths, neither of them sunset. So I'm acting upon the what I raised my hand to do, which was to serve and protect. And I'm ready to do a third oath for the people.
I feel that I took the same oath. It does. It carries with us.
It
And
does
it
carry with you. It doesn't
yeah.
leave. I think a lot. I think many people. It's.
Yeah.
I think for the overwhelming majority of us and everything. And thank you for your service as well.
Yes.
And I didn't even realize how ingrained it becomes in who you are. I mean, it's in your
Yes.
bones. It's hard to break some of those habits, like trying to be early instead of just on time. Because if you're just on time, you're late.
So let's talk about what the latest developments here. I want to get
Hmm.
into your policies, but before that, let's get into what is going down at the moment
Yes, yes.
and
So
elsewhere.
and elsewhere, yeah, exactly. Obviously, this all had to start when the president turned to the governor of Texas and said, "Get me 5 more seats." And then the tit for tat Cold War began on redistricting, or yeah, there's a difference between there's redistricting and there's gerrymandering and everything. Basically, when you say redistricting, that's something that's already baked into the system, and you do it at a certain time, and everybody comes to this certain agreement. And then there's gerrymandering when you do the same thing for redistricting, but just to serve a particular political aim. And the courts have hereby decided that, well, you can call that you're going to either stack or crack, not voters of certain colors, but voters of certain politics. Yes, you can do that as long as you don't say color. As long as you don't do this, then we don't see how this is racially motivated at all. Where our Chief Justice has been a big, huge fan of that for decades, according to people who are saying, yeah, this is totally on brand for him. This is something that he's wanted to do for a while. So Monday morning, we all awoke to it's like, hey, here it is. Ron DeSantis has submitted
Yeah.
his vision of what the district should look like, and we've been just trying to account for that ever since.
How is that affecting District 12, much less Florida?
Yes. So before Monday, the congressional District 12 entailed all of Citrus, all of Hernando counties, and the majority of where I live in Pasco County, with the exception of a carve out of the southeast corner of the county. Monday morning, we woke and it's like, hey, District 12 has been changed. Instead of the all of Citrus, all of Hernando, and most of Pasco, you're going to lose all of Citrus. You're going to lose all of Hernando. We're going to cut down the profile of what Pasco looks like. And then we're also going to go south. We're going to cross the border in Hillsborough. So my district right now from here, Hudson, goes all the way down into the Tampa proper. So, yes, I have to now so it's going to take a minute for us to iron this whole thing out. But the anticipation is that even with the challenges in the courts, unless there's some stay, it's still possible. But unless there's some, like, absolutely hard stop brick wall, you cannot advance this anymore, or you cannot implement this map until after November. We're just anticipating that the gears of justice are gonna grind towards one way, but it's gonna be after the election. That's what we're anticipating. That, and to chop down the power of people's votes, not only for brown and black people, but for everybody eventually. If you have a different viewpoint on policies as opposed to the people who are currently in power.
Yeah, let's be honest, just demolishing democracy is what they're doing.
Yep.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah. Well, let's get to your policies so that the people
Sure.
are listening can know why we should vote. They, because I can't vote. I'll say they
Abs-
because I'm not in Florida.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's start with the cost of living down there. I mean, obviously that's everywhere.
Sure. That plays into one of my 4 pillars of the four core tenants that I'm running on are basically health, wealth, public education, and the environment. So, health is, I'll cut right to the chase, uh, Medicare for all. That people should be able to sit there and not have to worry about how they're going to afford their medication, that they don't have to self ration themselves, as far as like, well, I'll wait until after this because I can't really afford a doctor bill right now or prescriptions. There's wealth. I had a colleague of mine tell me, "Oh, Chris is union made because I grew up in a union household." I mean, it just seems like my childhood, but now I look back from a political lens, and it's a different world. My father was able to keep us all fed, keep us all roofed. My mom did not return to work until I was like in junior high, where the average I think is within 6 months. It used to be, now it's 6 weeks that new mothers, they go right back into the workforce. And so my mom was able to wait until I was like in junior high. But throughout that whole time, we had a stable household. There was food on the table, roof over our head. The lights never got shut off. And when we were able to take a trip every now and again, and my parents were able to save for their retirement. That's what we had. That's no longer the case. And my policies look to aim to bring that back for people.
The one income household, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, the third one is public education. Where we shouldn't be siphoning off so much money to make sure that people have choice, especially when it's on taxpayer dollars. And the taxpayers don't even know where the tax dollars go. They can't audit it. So we need to pay teachers more. Florida right now is 50th in the country. Wouldn't you know it? They can't get new teachers. There's a hiring freeze that's going on right now, where people I mean, our public school education, we've been grossly, egregiously underfunding it for decades now. We've been neglecting it. We do so at our own peril, because when when you're in school, you learn what it means to live in a society. You learn about democracy. You learn about other people. You learn about appreciating that there are people with different backgrounds who are going to be in your life. You learn those basic skills of interaction with people who come from different backgrounds in the public education system. So I think this is something that should be saved. And then finally, there's the environment. There are species that are at risk because we insist on letting builders and corporations dictate the pace of how fast a house goes up. Right now, I mean, I'm able to look at a place like out the window near me. I have the Gulf of Mexico. It's still, it's, you know what, they call it the Gulf of America. It doesn't look any different from the day before they changed the name. So it's the same. So until they compel me to say that it's actually Gulf of America, it's still Gulf of Mexico. I watch people on this beautiful body of water be able to go out fishing. They go out on their boats. They sit there. They go for walks along the shore. They're building memories with family and friends. They're enjoying it. I would hate to see anything, like an oil rig suddenly blow a gasket or whatever it does, and then fill the thing with crude from the bottom of the ocean floor. I don't want that. What what we're asking, what I'm pushing for, what is possible is not a lot to ask for. It's
Right.
not a lot. It's not
I don't
something
think we're
we
asking too much
can.
here, guys. I mean,
We are not asking too much. All it takes is a little bit of walking and a little bit of chewing gum at the same time, and I promise we can get ourselves out of this. It was bad policies and bad leadership that got us in this situation. That's the bad news. The good news, it's going to take good policies and good leadership to get out.
immigration and the justice system and crime and how is all that looking for you?
Oh boy. Well, let's see. Let's just start with the immigration and everything. And the fact is this. The fact is that the current administration, they held up legislation in order to have that problem still be an issue in the lead up to the election, with the promise that he was going to take care of all of it. And of course, that people said, Do not do this bill, do not solve this problem, where we would be able to give the border agents autonomy to be able to shut the border down if it's too good. Okay, we're going to grant them that. Let's allow them to be able to make sure that once they do come in, that we work on actually streamlining this, where we have people who the backlog of people that are here who have been waiting years, sometimes decades, in order to get their citizenship. We've got a backfill of cases on the docket. We need more judges. Let's pay more money to do that. Let's pay to have more staffing to be able to work that backlog as well. They form ICE. And now ICE is going over there and arresting people, not the worst of the worst, but just people who are sitting there going through the system, as horrible as it is, doing all the right things, and they're still getting locked up and thrown away. That is not something that I buy. And I don't think anybody actually said that they wanted to vote for that, but that's what people got instead. So we have that. We need to fix our system, and if we can bring these people into the system, have them to where they're not languishing for years and years with unnecessary delays or anything, and get that path forward to where they can be a citizen. All the while, they're still paying taxes, by the way. They're still working, they're still paying taxes, they're not bothering anybody. They're just trying to earn a living. I don't have any problem with people against that. And I certainly don't believe that even if you overstayed your visa, even if you overstayed that, that is no reason for you to pull them out off the streets in the middle of the day or out of their homes in the middle of the night and send them somewhere and terrorize a family and their loved ones because of because they overstayed. That shouldn't be it. That's not what our country's about. Um, the other policy said the economy. The economy not doing well right now. I mean, a lot of it just has to come with the unbelievably ridiculous policy of thinking, hey, war with Iran, good idea. Especially when you ran on a policy of like, we're not starting any new wars. Well, congratulations, you just started one with Iran. And because of the incompetence of these cosplayers, these sycophantic cosplayers, guess what, everybody? We are done with the war in Iran when Iran says so. That's where we're at right now. We have put ourselves into a corner. We've moved our assets over there, and people just did not account for. Hey, they may not be able to hit us over here, but they'll hit the UAE, they'll hit Oman, they'll hit Qatar, they'll hit Saudi Arabia. Oh yeah, and Tel Aviv. So what? Why did we do all this? And now people want to talk about. Well, they're talking about opening the Strait of Hormuz. When? Well, that was open before you started this whole
Yeah.
thing. I mean,
I'm funny, but my gosh, all we can do is laugh or cry, right?
I know. It's like, yeah, yeah. I mean, it would be funnier if it wasn't just so, ridiculous
Gosh
and
darn real.
tragic and true. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
no, I get it. You just, after a while, you just like, oh, come on, man.
Like, you can't make
What
this shit
what is
up,
this?
I
No,
mean,
no, you can't. You can't. And we need to have a better immigration policy than sending these guys out to pull people off the street.
they're not listening to the people, obviously, so what
No,
we
no,
need
they're
people like
not.
you in there
Hmm.
to listen to the people, and
Hmm.
that'll be so refreshing. The AI, the jobs, the future, what is that?
Yes.
Chance at things like UBI and job guarantees.
Yeah, universal basic income, yes, and job guarantees. I'll talk about the AI thing first. If you're somebody who is more than 15 years old right now, you've lived with some type of evolution of technology through your life. I'm still always catching up and everything. I thank goodness my wife is as technically savvy as she is. I am.
I'd
I.
be lost without Google. I mean, I gotta ask them everything, YouTube.
Oh yeah, right.
How do you
Yeah,
do this?
no.
Go to YouTube. I'll tell
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I was like, oh, I know you. Oh
There's a
my
video on
goodness.
that.
There's something I know how to do simply because I've watched so much damn YouTube.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So,
Right. Yes,
um,
exactly.
yes, we've all had like that there's going to be new technologies that get enmeshed in our daily lives that are going to change things. They're going to change how we view other people. They're going to change how we communicate. They're going to change how we work and earn a living. We totally get that. The AI thing is something that I believe that it has the potential to do all the things they say that they're doing, but it seems to be that narrative is a little bit ahead of what the reality is. Now, I don't want to. I know that there are people out there that are absolutely losing jobs and everything and the thing is AI implementation, AI this is going to be a whole new way to think. Well, I think what that is that they're trying to get the narrative so many people, the very very rich people who out of fear of missing out were banking and putting a lot of money into the speculative potential that they would be able to turn a profit. The problem is they have not been able to get to that point. Now, there are definitely innovations, there are definitely things that people can use, and I can see the impact of AI on the typical worker. But here's where I kind of think the industry giants kind of know that they're giving up the game. They kind of know that what they're overselling the position. Here's why. when social media first started out, people were like, "Oh yeah, this is great" and everything and stuff like that. And suddenly, like first time adopters on Facebook and other social media platforms are sitting there putting all their stuff in there because there's this is a way to communicate. I could show pictures of my kids to a high school buddy who lives across country. I would love to catch up with them. All that other stuff. It becomes great. And then it's later on, very much later in the adoption cycle of social media, that then we find out, oh yeah, ever notice that tendency for a commercial on YouTube, or you're when you're watching something streaming, a commercial comes up about a product that was really relevant to what you were just talking about with somebody in the presence of your phone 5 minutes before. Well, wouldn't you know it, people? There's an algorithm. There's an algorithm that we sat there and we collected. We collected all these data points about everything that you would, or anything that you put out for anybody to hear, or you typed, or you texted someone, all that stuff. We collected all those data points and then we sent them to a hub. We collected them all, made a profile of you, and spat out an advertising profile that fits to your needs, it's specifically to you. You don't know about it. We've kept it under the wraps forever. And then try to get a new phone and keep that setting from being the way you want to keep us from doing it. It's very difficult. Now, that's where I think the reason why I think with AI, because instead of trying to implement it years later, they're not, the analogy of a baseball player at home plate calling his shot. I'm going to hit this ball and I'm going to send it over the left field fence. This is equivalent to somebody who's in the AI circles, AI industry, calling their shot. They're not even in the park. They don't even know what sport they're going to be playing. They're already calling their shot. See, you see what I mean?
I like
They're
that.
just,
Yes, I do
yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
That's what's doing right now. Months ago, I was at an AI forum, and there were all these other small businesses, local businesses that were looking to get inside. All of them using AI to something. I'm sitting over here talking to these guys, and they're not saying anything. Not one of them, like many of the workers out there, are saying, "Well, I'm wondering what it's going to do with my job." I did not hear one of them mention one word about their workforce. You know what they were talking about, though? What they were worried about was not somebody who would cause them to let go of their workers. No, no, forget that. They were worried about other businesses cracking the code on how to use AI to then turn it against their business and put them out of work. That's what they were concerned with.
That's what it's
That's exactly that's what it's coming down.
and people don't see this.
No, no, they don't. They don't. But it's really interesting. When I heard that, I was just like, I don't hear anybody talking about the workers. So for that, I'm for the idea of an AI Bill of Rights, that you shouldn't be able to relegate some decisions to AI, like, oh, approvals for covering medical expenses, or job applications, or anything of that nature. You shouldn't have to settle an insurance claim.
I've never heard anybody else say that. That's a good point. That's a good thing to bring up. Well, as you know, we don't have much faith or trust for good reason
Mhm.
in our
Mhm.
politics, much less our politicians. So
Yes.
why should we trust you?
Well, because probably one of the things about me is that I'm all about my values, but I also know what it's like to serve in something that's greater than oneself. I find that the work of the people, the work in defense of one's nation, is an honorable thing. Ask yourself this: what's your long-term stability worth to you? That, hey, if a storm comes out and washes away a couple of roads, we have the infrastructure maintenance system in place to be able to replace that in a couple days. What do we have when we have laws that are coming that are being unequally applied? I have a lot of aspirations to be the to echo the voice of the people whom I'm representing in Washington.
Yeah, it's been too normalized that this is how it is, and
Yes,
it's not supposed to be.
absolutely, absolutely. This is not the way this is supposed to be. But you're right. You hit the nail on the head. It's been normalized. People have been
Mhm.
conditioned to not expect anything. but people are reluctant to like make an investment in time and money or whatever into something completely new that they're not exactly sure if it's going to be an appreciable improvement over what they have. They just can't be compelled. I think this year is going to be different. I think
I
the
hope.
cycle is calling for it. People are calling for change,
Mhm.
almost for change's sake, because they just realize that they just cannot get anywhere with the current leadership that we have right now representing us.
That's why your handle is Chris for Change.
Yes, it
I
is.
mean,
That's exactly it, you know?
yeah, where can
Mhm.
we find you then?
Yes, thank you for that. Yes, my website, you can find me at chrisforchange.com. You go on there, you can offer to volunteer, you can donate. We have scheduled time with a candidate. It's just starting getting involved and just thinking that you know what, you can make a difference. One, if there's one thing that's consistent with our history, is that it is the grassroots movements who are able to change policy in the United States
And willing,
and
able and willing.
able and willing to do it. I think a lot of people are more able than they're giving themselves credit for.
Yeah, we're so grateful for you, and I'm
Well, I
pushing you.
appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we appreciate you. To those of us
Thank
that
you.
know about you and what you're doing and
Thank you.
the fact that it's needed so much, we definitely appreciate you.
And I appreciate you calling me out because honestly, when I was on your live stream, I had not like, I think I told you, it's like, this is the first time I'm doing this and everything. And I hit join and you saw me and that was a new space for me. I wasn't sure, but you know, it's social media. I'm in my mid 50s. I'm just figuring out social media right now because that's where the people are.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
everybody was gracious. Your audience was just amazing. There were
Oh,
really great discussions that we had, really good questions. And I was just like, why was I why did I have any misgivings about this? You
why
know,
haven't I done this sooner?
I know why didn't I do this? Why couldn't I figure out what she was telling me on that
Why
campaign
don't I
stuff?
know what I don't know?
I know why is that? Oh my goodness, yeah.
That's that's great. I'm so glad you had a wonderful experience on
Did
there.
I did. Oh, and just real quick, you know, I
Yeah.
even though I am my mid 50s, I am getting better on social media. I'm on TikTok, Instagram. I have a YouTube channel, Chris for Change, and I'm probably going to be starting an X account very soon to accommodate for the platform that seems to be used in Hillsborough.
It's not supposed to be up to us to do this. The people that are running are supposed to seek out the people, right? No, we need to seek
Yes.
out the people running for us because
Mm-hmm.
they suppress you guys and it's not fair and it's not right. It's not democracy.
Mm-hmm.
We need to fight for ourselves.
Yes.
You know, we
Yes.
want to save our future for our
Mm-hmm.
children, for our grandchildren. We need to put in the work.
Yes. Takes an investment.
Yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
invest in our future.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Go out and find these folks that are running for the right reasons. I can't push that enough. I can't stress that enough.
Thank you for offering me time on your platform, and I know that you're really doing good work. You're doing the work that's necessary. That you know for all of us to have that society that people keep wanting. We should be more civil to each other. Yes, it starts by talking. It starts by communicating. So thank
Yeah.
you for what you're doing. I really do appreciate this, and your audience does as well.
Well, thank you. That's so that I
Mhm.
appreciate that for
Of
sure.
course, of course.
That's always wonderful to hear. Chris is running in Florida, yes, but this is going to affect the whole nation. And a way that you can help without being able to vote is by going and finding these candidates and pushing their platform, pushing their information so that people are aware of it.
Hmm.
Don't worry about the letter, worry about the policies, worry about the people, and find them because they're out here and they're advocating for us. You got to do it. You got to put in the work. Put in the work, people, please.
Hmm.
It's crucial.
Yes, yes. Well, I believe that this is going to be the year we're going to make a huge difference. So you know, join us, join the resistance. We've got the wind we've got the wind to our backs.
I hope you'll come back to the live. Chris, I enjoyed having you
I
there.
absolutely will. I absolutely will. Thank you so much.
Awesome. So, oh, well, see you there. Come to TikTok, listen, get in on some of the conversations because that's where you're going to hear their voices. Thank you to the audience for listening and please share. Until next week, right here on From Dirt We Grow. I'm your host, Stephanie Allen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.